This is an Eye on Annapolis sports update.
Hey, we're coming live from Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. No, we're not. We're here at...
We are not. We are at Lincoln Financial Field.
Linkle.
Well, we both did it.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right, Kevin?
Somewhere.
This is John Frenay and Kevin Cheney from Eye on Annapolis and Kevin with Shellback Sports. We're here at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia for the 119th Army-Navy game, which is going to kick off at 3:10 p.m., about 2 hours from now. Want to talk football first, or you want to just talk about other stuff?
Man, let's talk about some football, because this is going to be an awesome game.
You think so?
I do. I think that Navy putting Zach Abey back under center has been playing more productive football. They broke that 7-game losing streak. They've been much more competitive in games, and the rushing attack seems to be functioning the way it's supposed to. So I'm really excited to see how Navy performs in this game that 34 of these seniors know that it's the last game they're going to play.
Well, I'll tell you, Navy's coming into this at 3-9, and Army is coming in at 9-2 with a 7-game winning streak. Navy's got a 1-game losing streak, I guess it was, because they lost to Tulane.
They lost the last game of the year, but the thing that Navy's going to really have to prepare for is the fact that Army's doing it on both sides of the ball. On offense, they're number 1 on third down conversions, and they're number 1 in time of possession in the country. And on defense, they're not slouching either. They're number 3 in the country on third down defense, and they've allowed the fewest first downs in the country. They're playing lights out, and that's why they get the Armed Forces Bowl.
Well, Army also does have, and I sound like I'm a cheerleader for an Army because I definitely want Navy to win this thing, but Army is coming off of a 2-game winning streak in this series. They beat Navy for the first time in, it was like 14 years.
I think it was 14,
in Baltimore 2 years ago, and they beat Navy again last year right here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I remember that game. All the snow, the final play, the missed field goal at the end. It was a great game against a unranked Army team and a ranked Navy team, by the way. So maybe history will repeat itself and Navy will get the win this time.
Could very well be. Well, I'll tell you, this Army-Navy game is historically in a neutral ground. It's only been played on the campuses of the academies a couple times, and it will be here in Philadelphia through 2020, but in 2021 it's moving up into New York to MetLife Stadium. It might have a change of name by the time that rolls around, but it's at the Meadowlands outside of New York as the neutral ground, a little bit closer to New York than it is in West Point than it is to Navy. We are waiting for the Navy balls, Navy game balls, and the Army Navy. We're waiting for the 2 game balls to arrive in the stadium. That's how this day is going to go, okay? But the 2 teams have sent out a relay from both campuses to run the balls to Philadelphia. They are scheduled to be here probably in about 40 minutes. Navy's team left at about 7 a.m. yesterday. We did have pictures up on eyeonannapolis.net. It is a relay. They run through the night with the game balls. Army has left West Point as well. And they will be here. In Navy, they take the 13th company, which is considered the unlucky company, and it's get them off campus to hopefully that will do.
Hopefully they'll break this 2-game losing streak.
That is. Well, I'll tell you, talk about the losing streak here, that if Navy defeats Army here, this will be very interesting because it'll be a 3-way tie for the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, which is really what's up for grabs here. I mean, it's not about a win-loss record for the season. This is about beating the other team and possession of the Commander-in-Chief's trophy.
Well, unfortunately, no matter how the game ends today, Army's taking it home. If it's a 3-way tie, since Army won it last year, they retain possession. But it's one thing to retain possession, and it's a complete other thing to win it outright, which is definitely motivation for Navy.
Absolutely. And as far as the tie goes, if Navy were to win this, it's only been tied 4 times in the 46 years that the Commander-in-Chief's trophy has been around. Another first for Army-Navy game in 1963. You know what happened?
No, I don't.
It was the very first time they did instant replay on television. Started right here in Philadelphia.
You know what? I think I did hear that. Yep.
Yeah. So we've got that going. And speaking of the Commander-in-Chief, we do have the Commander-in-Chief. President Donald Trump will be here. He is scheduled to come out into the field just before kickoff, do the coin toss. And hopefully at halftime, he'll be doing the switching to the sides. And I would say typically presidents, when they do attend this game, will do that. They will go from one side to the other. And he's going to start out on the Army side, which is considered the home team today, and move over to Navy for the second half of the game. President Trump is anything but typical, so who knows?
There's nothing conventional about him, so maybe he'll be here for the whole thing, maybe he won't. They have a much tighter grip on who's down on the field today, so I'm assuming they're anticipating him being here all day.
Oh, absolutely. And I've also heard that he is going to be making a fairly major announcement at the game. I don't know whether it'll be a public thing out on the field or whether it's just going to be an interview or whatever, but apparently he is going to be naming a new chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Oh, this is the place to do it?
No, it's not.
No?
No, it's not. This game is about two teams playing a storied rivalry that's 119 years old. These guys have worked hard all year long for this hour-long of football play. And I don't think we need to steal that thunder. All respect to the president, because the offices do that, but I don't think this is the time or the place for it. The only thing I can suspect is that the new chairman is probably in attendance as well.
Yeah, I guess that would be what would tie that in. Otherwise, you're probably right. I don't really see what the point of making a public address like that would be.
Well, sort of like the end of The Apprentice. You just... Why don't you laugh? You're just sitting here like holding that.
Because I didn't really, I wasn't expecting us to make the left turn onto the TV show. I wasn't even thinking about the show The Apprentice. Sure, a little bit. Sure, he's probably got 100 generals and admirals lined up there, and says, "Okay, here it is. You're the next chairman of the Joint Chiefs." You did not get a rose. All right. Well, look, this is John Fernay and Kevin Chaney. How to follow Army-Navy game for us? You want to follow Shellback Sports on Twitter, which is at Shellback Sports, all one word. At Ion Annapolis is another way. I will be updating the All Annapolis Facebook page periodically throughout the game. We do have a live blog going on ionannapolis.net. Feel free to tweet any questions or something like that to us at Ion Annapolis or at Shellback Sports. We'll try to answer them. We might be even talked into doing some antics. Oh, we don't know who's doing the halftime entertainment here. We do have a flyover. We've got 4-jet Navy flyover. We've got some Blackhawks coming in from Army. We do have the Leapfrogs. We do have the, whatever the hell they call those Army guys that jump out of the planes. Navy's Leapfrogs, I can't remember the name. Navy second string, I imagine. That will be here. And we do have a photographer down on the field, so you want to make sure that you're checking back a little bit later on today for photos of the action. And it's going to be a heck of a game. I'm really excited about it. It is. The brigades have all marched on, and the brigade has marched on and off. The Corps of Cadets has marched on and off. They're taking their seats now. Army team looks to be taking the field for practice and warm-up. Navy should be out fairly soon. And I think we have, I don't remember what it's called, but I think there at the Army end zone, we have the culmination of an Army-Navy feats of strength, or not really feats of strength, but some sort of a competition between class members that culminates today on the field with some sort of a relay. We'll figure out what that is and we'll be back. I remember seeing it earlier the week. All right, we will be back. Tentatively, we're going to be back maybe just before the start of the game, but certainly at halftime and at the end. And for now, here from Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field, Kevin Chaney with Shellback Sports, John Fernay with Ion Annapolis, and I'll just say, go Navy.
This has been an update from Ion Annapolis. Please visit us at ionannapolis.net. Follow us on Twitter at Ion Annapolis. And be sure to subscribe to our daily news brief podcast, which is delivered every Monday through Friday to your phone or device at 7 a.m.